Bitcoin is emerging as the world's reserve capital network. If you want to store your capital for the long term and you live in Africa or Russia or China or South America or even the US, your choice is local real estate or local stocks or Bitcoin. Well, people are realizing that Bitcoin is better than real estate. It's better than stocks. There's not a single company or real estate property in Africa that you would rather own for the long term than Bitcoin.
This shocked me. Bitcoin is no longer going to crash again like it's done in the past. Here. These deep bear market price crashes are over, at least according to Michael Saylor. If you hold zero point zero 0.01 Bitcoin or more, Michael Saylor has a message for you.
I think as the asset grows and matures, the volatility decreases and those the extremes of the drawdown decrease. The structure of the market determines the volatility. If you're going to forecast the structure of the market, you can't look backwards. It's like if you looked at a bicycle 4 years ago and I show up with a motorcycle right now, it's a different set of physics. The market right now is driven by the ETFs, driven by the options market, driven by companies like MicroStrategy, driven by the global adoption. So I think what you'll see is you will still see volatility, but you won't see the extreme drawdowns of the last cycle. You'll see a more gentle volatility. It'll surge up, it'll come back, but I don't expect we saw an 80% drawdown in the depth of the crypto winter from 66,000 to 16,000. In order for that to happen, you had to have a bunch of very poorly capitalized companies like FTX and Genesis and Celsius and BlockFi force liquidate. We don't have those kind of companies in the system now. The capital structures of the companies participating in the market today are much deeper, much more robust, and there's a lot more equity capital today. So you'll see a different dynamic. I think it'll be muted to the upside and the downside because of the options traders that are moderating the market.
Like zooming out on a big enough time frame, Bitcoin's price is just going to keep moving up and to the right over time, like the US stock market. So if you hold 0.01 Bitcoin, this is how your investment is roughly going to appreciate, according to Mike.
I don't chart it month by month, but I noticed that it's been a 60% ARR for the past 4 years and even before that point. And my model is generally that it will grow at 60% ARR, decelerating to 20% ARR over 21 years. So if you start to crank in 60%, then 58, then 56, then 54, and you put that on a scale, absent the cyclical volatility, you get to a forecast, which makes sense.
Hey, buy gift cards to your favorite brands with the Fold app. Earn big Bitcoin rewards back for every purchase. You should buy all your holiday gifts with these gift cards here. You can earn so much Bitcoin back this holiday season for things you were going to buy anyway. 4% back with Airbnb, 2.5% back with Amazon, 3.5% back with Best Buy. They have so many different brands to choose from. Scan my QR code or use my link below. Sign up today. Altcoin Daily viewers get a 20,000 sat bonus, about $15, when you purchase your first gift card. Look, before we continue, 0.01 Bitcoin today costs around $1,000. A lot of people get to this milestone and stop accumulating. And according to Michael Saylor, you could be making one of the worst mistakes of your life. You're probably leaving money on the table. It was obvious when BlackRock got involved. Now that Donald Trump just became president, it's even more obvious. So here are just some of the policies that Michael Saylor thinks Donald Trump will change.
I think low regulation, low tax, pro-innovation policies, specifically with regard to digital assets. If we have a digital assets framework that supports digital commodities, digital securities, digital tokens, digital ABTs, digital currencies, digital NFTs, so that people can innovate in the United States of America and spread those assets everywhere in the world, I think that'll be good for the world and good for the United States.
The only question is, will Donald Trump be able to do the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve or stockpile? As the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve bill gains traction in Congress, we are seeing senators now start to question its legitimacy and whether it's necessary for the U.S. to do or not. Michael Saylor has a message for you if you think similarly to Senator Gillibrand here.
I don't know what the purpose of a Bitcoin central reserve is, and I haven't really seen the details of any idea about why you would do that and why that's important. I think it would have an obvious impact of supporting the Bitcoin industry, which in and of itself isn't good or bad. I just would want to know what the reason is.
All right, Michael, so the senator not sure about the reason for it. What do you say to that? What's your response?
So the very simple idea is buy 20 or 25% of the Bitcoin network on behalf of the US government, catalyze the development of that world reserve capital network, and then let all the Chinese and the Russians and the foreigners sell all their other assets and buy Bitcoin, and then the money flows into the United States. If you want to put a great twist on it, dump your gold, sell all the US gold, buy Bitcoin, then the trade is free because you could buy 5 million Bitcoin for the cost of the gold. You will demonetize the entire gold asset class, and our enemies hold gold in their banks, so their assets would go to zero. Our assets would go to $100 trillion, and we would control the world's reserve capital network as well as the world's reserve currency network.
I want to pause with the Michael Saylor clips for a second and show you a recent video of former managing director of Bank of America, Steve Weiss, admitting that Bank of America is buying tons of Bitcoin right now, under the radar. Listen to this and smash the like button, guys. You'd have no idea this was happening unless you subscribe to our channel.
The flow show from Bank of America, you have the largest 4-week inflow ever into crypto assets. We can hit that because you keep buying Bitcoin, and you did it again as we would show Bitcoin again, because we got to 100K, we kissed it, then we came back a little bit, and we're hovering right below.
Right, which is not unusual. So I'm in my office in Chicago, and I see the news of who Trump appointed for the SEC.
Yeah, crypto-friendly person.
Exactly. So it was trading below, I think it was at 97,000 at the time, immediately bought some more and said this is going to be the catalyst to get it through 100. It was going to get through 100 anyway. Now, yesterday we saw a 5% correction. It's not unusual when you go through these psychological points that are resistance to fall back behind it. But I now think 100 is going to be support, and that we will keep going once the administration's actually in place.
Well, some of the commentary yesterday was, if I recall it correctly, overdone but not over. Right, yeah, that might have been Wolf research that said overdone but not over. Then you had other calls of saying, well, yeah, they agree with Weiss. 100,000, okay, ante up, give me 250 next year.
And that's the beauty of investing something that has no intrinsic value, because you just can't say it's overvalued or it's undervalued. It's purely momentum.
So what are you playing for, Weiss? Like if you bought it at 97?
Make money.
No.
Money.
No. Let's be
Money.
serious. Are you playing for 25% return on it?
I don't think I have to define it. I'm playing for the momentum. And when the momentum starts down.
So, if you've made it this far in the video, you get it. You're already ahead of the curve. The question is, what should be your next move? Well, Michael Saylor has a game plan for you. See if you agree with him.
Your advice is buy here, or no, wait for a pullback. And then when I do buy, Michael, your advice to folks who are listening about how to do that, what do they buy? Do they dollar cost average into Bitcoin? What's your advice?
I think you should think of Bitcoin as a long-term capital asset. So if you have money you don't need for 4 years, or even better yet, for 10 years, you put it into a portfolio. You might hold scarce desirable real estate. You might hold your favorite artwork. You might hold some portfolio of companies you're going to hold forever. I think a part of that is Bitcoin. So I say dollar cost average into Bitcoin every quarter, sweep some long-term savings into Bitcoin, expect to keep it there for a decade or longer, and don't get too worked up over the volatility in the near term.
So, to bring it all in, if I really had to distill Michael Saylor's message to you into just one clip, this is it. Guys, if you want an edge in cryptocurrency, subscribe to our channel for daily updates. We'll continue this conversation in the comments of today's video.
Every day for the past 4 years, I've said, buy Bitcoin, don't sell the Bitcoin. I'm going to be buying more Bitcoin. I'm going to be buying Bitcoin at the top forever. I joked with Dave Portnoy today. He said, I missed it at 10,000. I missed it at 20,000. I missed it at 100,000. I said, Dave, it's still less than $1 million a coin. You're getting a 90% discount from $1 million a coin. I'm sure that I will be buying Bitcoin at $1 million a coin, probably $1 billion a day of Bitcoin at $1 million a coin. And so I think it's a very simple idea. It's just keep buying Bitcoin with your spare capital. It's going to appreciate against the dollar forever.